I'm Jacob Neely. I was born in California. My dad was in the Air Force, so I lived all over the place. I went to high school and college in Florida, and then I moved up to New York, and I've been here maybe the past 10 or 11 years. I was just finishing up college, and I moved up to New York to start working. Like, I'd started modeling, and I was doing personal training, and so as soon as I had an agency up here, I moved up here. I went to Florida State University. That was pretty fun, and then I transferred to USF, and when I was in USF, I couldn't get into the program that I wanted to, so I was studying psychology, which was really cool. But I was also personal training, and then once real opportunities started happening, I was like, I'm not going to be a psychologist, so I'm going to go follow, my instincts, and I'm going to go do, the things that I wanted to do. One piece of advice to the younger generation, I would say to focus on your passions, right? And follow your passions. Don't follow what other people think is cool for you. Do what you think is cool. And I think there's a lot of value in that. And when you're doing something that you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like you're working. The whole process feels fun. And if you're able to find that, then you'll be able to put in a tremendous amount of work without it seeming like you're really working that hard. You're just having fun the whole time. I think that a big part of building motivation is to create a clear vision of what you want. Like, you have to be able to create this vision in your head to where you can see what you want, right? Whether, if you want to be happy, like what does that constitute? It's not just, if your goal in life is to be happy, which I think is a great goal, like what is it going to take for you to be happy, right? Or, if your goal is, to win a race, right? Visualize yourself breaking the tape and crossing the finish line while you're training all the time, and the more that you can create that vision, the more you'll draw it closer to yourself, the more that you'll work towards it all the time. If you're unable to create a vision to pursue, it's like you're searching for something in the dark, right? So as far as motivation goes, if you can't see that vision, it's hard to be motivated to reach for it. Some good things, I think, are like using mantras, right? Like that's, you had the visualization that I was just talking about, but you could also use mantras, like, we were just talking about when things, what do you do when things get tough? A mantra is always a good thing to fall back on, a strong saying to get you through whatever that moment is. It could be like a single word, right? It could be a phrase, right? I mean, sometimes when I'm training really hard and it gets tough, I just make a crazy noise, and that's my mantra, right? But it's something to get me through those tough moments, right? And it motivates me to be in a positive attitude, right? So a lot of times, if you can shift your mindset to from a negative mindset to a positive mindset, I mean, I just think if you're dwelling on a situation where you don't think that you can do this, right? And you're doubting the whole situation. I mean, you're pushing all of that further away from you, and there's no possible way you're going to be motivated to take a step to do anything, right? You're not going to take one step closer to that thing, right? But if you open up those doors to having a positive mindset and you believe that you can do these things, I mean, that thing is one step closer to you, right? But yeah, you know, if you can create you know, some positive mantras for some tough situations, that's a good way to put yourself in a positive mindset, to motivate yourself to go do it. Sometimes you got to bite down and you just have to do it. You know, the biggest thing that I see with people is people are so scared to challenge themselves, right? But in challenging yourself, that's where all that growth is, right? That's where, you know, you build that mental resilience to take that first step in something that seems scary, right? To go take a risk, right? You know, and I just think that helps you calculate your risks better. You know, you're not gonna succeed, and you'll definitely learn that you're not gonna, you know, succeed at every single thing that you do, but, you know, the chances of you being good at something, you know, you have to try it, right? You can't just doubt yourself, be scared of something, and never take initiative to try it. You know, I would say that my biggest accomplishment is, you know, being able to wake up every single day and do exactly what I want to do. It makes me very happy, and it's very, it's just very fulfilling for me to be able to do that. It wasn't easy, and it's still, it's still definitely a process in growth for me. But, you know, to be able to be where I am right now through all of the pandemic stuff and all that is, I'd say that's definitely one of my biggest accomplishments, you know, to still, you know, have remained happy through all of that, and to, you know, have all the things that I have going on right now. So my favorite thing about living in New York. New York's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool things about New York. I feel like it's a very connected place, right? So there's a lot of opportunity, and I think that if you work really hard, that you could make some cool things happen eventually. Again, another thing that is not easy to do, right? But I think that New York has a tremendous amount of opportunity and loves a hard worker. So I think that's my favorite thing about New York. Well, first, it's I'll scramble to pack all my bags last minute. Right, but I'm getting a lot better at doing that. I've gotten a lot better at doing that. And usually I have the same, I'm always traveling for training, right? So I can pack my bike up in like 15 minutes, and you know, I pretty much know everything that I'm gonna use. But, you know, the biggest thing that I focus on when it comes to traveling is staying hydrated, right? If you're not keeping up with your hydration, this is something I tell everybody, right? You get very dehydrated on a flight. When you reach that altitude, the air is so dry that it's drying out all your internal passageways. So you're rapidly becoming dehydrated. So for the longest time, I couldn't figure out why I'd always be feeling horrible on flights, you know, getting like motion sickness when the plane starts hitting bumps. And then I figured out that the biggest preparation that I have to do before a flight is to hydrate myself, right? And, you know, hydration doesn't mean just drinking a lot of water, right? You can drink a lot of water and none of the water absorb into any of your cells because you don't have enough salt or carbohydrates to induce the hydration into your cells, right? So, you know, one way you can do that is like, you know, have a good meal with enough carbohydrates and salt in it, and, you know, drink plenty of water, and then you'll induce some good hydration, you know. Or have some kind of electrolyte beverage, which, you know, could have a lot of electrolyte beverages, but, you know, just for instance, you know, you could take a lemon, right? You have the fructose from the lemon, and then, you know, you could take some, I like to use like some Celtic salt, right? Because it has electrolytes in it, like some magnesium and potassium. And you know, you can squeeze half a lemon into, you know, a nice jug of water with a little bit of salt, and then now your water is primed for hydration. So having a little hydration routine before my flight will really sort me out, and that's the biggest thing that I will do for preparation. I think that exercise is one of the best ways to cope with stress. Maybe the best. Maybe that is the best thing that you can do for yourself psychologically. Right? Give yourself a challenge, right? Overcome the challenge. You know, the psychological components of exercising are so important for, you know, it's like the fundamentals for your mental health, right? For your body to be working in harmony with the mind. All right? Once those two things disconnect from each other, everything's out of whack. You're out of shape and you're depressed. Right? How many people are like that? Depressed, and you know, it's like you have to take the steps to make yourself better. And I mean, I know people that are really struggling with depression, right? And it's tough. And you know, the best things that I see them doing for themselves are you know, exercise, right? And being happy, being around people that make you happy, you know. That de-stresses me, right? Being around good people, right? You know instantly if you're around the wrong people, if you're feeling stressed out. Those are not the right people to be around. No, okay, so here are my top things, the top priority things, right? Number one most important thing, the biggest gain that you can make, right, is getting enough sleep, right? If you're not getting enough sleep, you're not going to be primed to perform. You're not going to be mentally sharp. Your body's not going to be able to recover. And you're not going to have a quality performance in whatever you're doing that next day. Right? So if you don't want good quality moments, don't get good sleep. So the second thing that I think is you know, important is hydration, right? Staying hydrated, right? That's fundamentally important to also feeling good, right? If you're not hydrated, you're gonna feel terrible, and then that's another thing that's gonna make all of the moments in your day a less quality, right? So those are two huge things. If you can get enough sleep and be properly hydrated, chances are you're going to be feeling really primed to perform in whatever you're going to do. And this is very important too, but I mean, I could say that this is the most important thing, but it's to stay consistent. You know, it's consistency. Always. Right? You're always doing these things. At least the majority of the time, like at least like at 90% you're always doing. Like you can have some fun and live life like we all do, but you know, stay focused on the things that are important and make the best out of your days. So those are the things that I think are the most important, right? Getting enough sleep, staying hydrated, and staying consistent. With resilience, you know, I carry on with resilience. Like, you know, life doesn't always, you know, sometimes life throws you curveballs, you know, and you have to stand strong, you know, through some of these tougher times. And yeah, I carry on through resilience for sure.